You want to know how to delay paying estate taxes? I'm Michael Redden, and that's what we're going to talk about today. A way that you can kind of kick that can down the road and kind of deal with it later. If you have any questions or concerns, please leave a comment down below. I'll address those. And if you want to plan with me, then go to reddenlawoffice.com and click schedule a meeting. And you can schedule right there on my calendar or click on the link that's in the description. So there's not a whole lot of us out there that actually have to deal with estate taxes. You can, especially at the federal level, because right now the exemptions are so high. That can change. At the state level, a lot more of us might have to deal with it because it's a lot lower. But one of the primary keys that we like to use with this is if you're married, we take advantage of what's called the marital deduction. What this basically says is when you die, if we give it over to your spouse, we don't have to include that in those amounts that might have to be paid taxes on. So you're not going to pay any kind of taxes on what you give straight to your spouse. Your spouse will go live out their life. They'll probably spend some of that down. And you might not even have to pay them at all, especially if you're right on the edge and on the border, and then through their life they happen to spend those assets down so that they're at that threshold where they don't have to pay any taxes at all. Now, this brings up a lot of concerns, right? You know, what if I die younger and my wife might get remarried? I don't necessarily want the stuff that I left for her to go on to any new spouse she might have. Or I don't want her to leave it to people on her side of the family. I want my side to benefit from that thing too. Well, you can do this in a special kind of trust called a QTIP. That's a fancy word. It's an income tax thing. It's an inheritance tax thing. It's a qualified terminal interest property trust. You don't need to know what that means. Just think QTIP, and it's about the marital deduction. It's a trust I leave over for my spouse. It does some things with taxes so that whatever's inside it, I don't get taxed on my estate. When she passes, now since it's in that trust, I control where it goes. It can help with my kids. It can go to a charity. It can do whatever I want. She doesn't get to decide that. So, you know, if I don't want that maybe to go to her side of the family or to her new spouse, I can take care of that. Really important for blended families and things of that nature. So that's how you delay paying estate taxes. You kick it down the road, you give it to your spouse, and then we pay whatever's left when your spouse dies. And if you want to control where it's going to go, then you leave it in one of those special kinds of trusts. And those are pretty standard. So if you have any questions about those, leave them down in the comments below. If you want to plan and do this kind of thing or anything else, then click on the link or go to reddenlawoffice.com and click on schedule a meeting and get right there on my calendar.